and I'll take it off.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you guys are live.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are live today with real estate extraordinaire from our Summerlin campus office. We have Mr. Alain Hanash. Alan, welcome to the show.
Yay!
As you can tell, the studio audience goes crazy for you, Alan. It's amazing, isn't it?
Of course, of course. You know, it's good. It's good.
Let's start off. Tell them a little about yourself, how long you've been in this crazy business, all that stuff, please.
Well, you know, it's an interesting adventure that I've been through. You know, I've been in the business 19 years at the end of this month. I'll be renewing at the end of this month. I'm loving it. I'm loving every day of it. And originally, it started. Mute my computer. Okay. Originally, I was working in the casino industry prior to doing real estate, going to college, taking 6, 7 classes, and doing real estate at the same time. No, I'm sorry, and I was working at the casino, and then a friend of mine I met in the casino, Michelle Kubiak. I owe it to her. She bugged me for 5 years. Get your license. No, I'm going to college. Get your license. No, I'm going to college. I'm going to become something in college. And finally, I told her after 5 years, I said, if I get my license, will you leave me alone? Will you stop bugging me about this? She goes, yes. And I've been doing it ever since, and I owe her everything for this.
Michelle's great. We've had her on too.
What's that?
Yeah, no, she's awesome. I've done a Facebook Live with her too. As you know, she's in my coaching as well.
Yes, yes. Oh, she's a great person. I still, you know, even with all my experience, I still reach out to her for questions or something like that. I think it's natural for agents to just, you know, bounce ideas or questions off each other, you know.
Mastermind,
But
yeah.
yeah, so when I started, so I started the real estate back in 2006. About 2006, I started real estate, and you know, ups and downs with the market. Market's great, wonderful. Market's not so great, but you still have to bump through. And I just kept pushing my way through. And 19 years later, I'm still doing it. You know, when I first started real estate, I started on the Michelle Kubiak team. So I got all my training through her, and she was always.
Rick?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, okay. Let me take this out. Um, she was very persistent about, getting your SOI, your sphere of influence, the people that you know, get them names down, get their addresses, get their phone numbers, get their emails, get all that information. And, at the time, I didn't think it was a big deal, but sure enough, it was a very big deal because that's the foundation of your business when you first start, is your sphere of influence. Naturally, I'm an extrovert. I could talk to anybody, complete stranger, and know their life story within 5, 10 minutes. So just talking to people was great. Made it even easier to work in the business. Not saying that it's impossible not to if you're not a talkative, outgoing person, but it's just it helped me. It made it easier for me to cope with things and do things. But so I was on the Michelle Kubiak team for several years and decided to go on my own. I went as an independent agent, and it was great. It was a little nervousness because I still had the support, but didn't have that same that comfort, that security blanket that I had when I was on the team. But I still pushed my way through it, and I think that very following year, was it the following year? I was number one in my office, number one, number 9 company wide. So it was good. It was a nice little boost after I went into as an independent agent.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, what's that?
I said, that's great. When you were in college and going to school, like, what was the thing that, because you said I wanted to be something and I wanted to finish college and go on. What's the thing that just made you, other than Michelle, jump on? What was it about real estate that you felt better about than finishing down the road of in college and getting a job from there?
Well, what really turned me on to real estate isn't about, for me, at least for me, it wasn't about selling that house or making that commission check. It wasn't about that. It was actually, I started working with first time buyers, and I loved it because you could see the sparkle in their eye when they find that home, that one home that they fell in love with. And I was able to walk them through, hold their hand, and walk them through the whole process. That was probably the biggest thing that really was a nice turn on for real estate. And that's what kind of targeted me towards, you know what, I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Yeah. It is fun when because, when I started the business, at least, when you were helping first time home buyers, it really was like all about helping them, become part of the American dream, is owning your own property. And, it's a great investment, tax deduction, principal reduction, the whole deal, right?
Exactly, exactly. And there's just so many different avenues within real estate, whether you do first time buyers, investors, new construction. We also do we do new construction, new home builds. There's just so many different avenues that you have to find that one niche that you're comfortable with, that you like, that you want. And to me, I mean, in all honesty, I love working with first time buyers. Investors are great too. It's a more of a cutthroat industry, but working with that and helping that that family, the small family, they're just been married a couple of years, they're just growing their family and getting it started in a comfortable home where they're happy, and moving on from there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And would you say today, I would say that one of your strengths is building that sphere. And, most of your business right now comes from your sphere.
Well, your sphere, and I mean, I don't like to use the word database, but it's the foundation, it's the bones of your business. Without the sphere, without your database, I mean, you have a fly by night business, you
Right.
know. So yeah, it's very important, and building onto that, and not just building onto it, but staying in contact with that. It's one of the hardest thing for realtors. Most realtors is the follow up. You know,
Mm,
some agents are flawless with it, but for a lot of agents, it's the follow up is the more important thing.
right.
And this is why we your classes, your success series. You always remind us. I'm like, I knew this, but why do I not just that? Just many things. It's always good to retake those classes, so because there's always something that you can always pick up from it. If it's not a lot of things, at least one thing.
Right. Well, thank you. Yes. And that today, now that you've been in the business as long as you have, working that sphere, keeping in touch, helping their family members, setting them up on company tools, right? All of that stuff is really, a great way to do business today.
Yeah, it's the CRM that we have one of the best CRMs I've ever seen. It really has it has more. You could do more with it than you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right. So take us through some of your, like you've been in it for a while and you were number 1 year and, number 9 in the company, which we have, 1,200 agents here. So that's pretty damn good. But how did your business grow? You started off, were you doing a lot of open houses? Did you get out there door knocking? What exactly did you do?
Well, originally I started with my sphere itself. I reached out to everybody that I know, but I got a lot of my business from word of mouth. I started doing open houses about a year or two, because mind you, I was doing real estate and I was working the casino at the same time, so I really had to
Right.
juggle a lot. Right, but when I went full time real estate, I started doing the open houses. But I didn't like them. I did not like open houses until I found out why I didn't like open houses. I didn't know how to do open houses. All I did is I throw a sign in the corner, and I open the door, and I say, come in, and buy this house. Come in, and buy this house. It doesn't work that way. There's a lot more detail into doing it. You have to caress it. You have to nurture it. You advertising it, whether you do it on social media, whether back when I first started, we still advertised in the newspaper. Not as often. It wasn't as popular, but it was there, and we were able to. But once I learned the proper way of doing real estate, it became more interesting because, again, being that just meeting people and being that I could speak to just about anybody and make a conversation made it all that more fun. So when I do a 6 hour open house, it really feels like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And on my downtime, if it's slow, I'll take a notebook with me, I'll take notes, or I'll have my iPad and I'll do some work or some research. So there's a plus with it. Sometimes you don't have that much business, not traffic coming into the open house, then you find something else to do in the meantime.
Yeah. Good.
But
Good.
open
Yeah.
houses was I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and today with your team, you're actually back to doing quite a few open houses, right? As of late, I would say.
We're doing open houses. I'm not. I'm. We're doing open houses every weekend, but I am taking this weekend off for open houses. There's a lot I have to do this weekend, so I am taking. But every weekend we're trying to do Saturday and Sunday, and every now and then I'll throw in a Friday. But we're doing them every. I try to put out a minimum of 13, 14 signs. But the more signs you have, obviously, the better. The more attraction you get.
Hmm. Yeah, because like we're going to learn today in Success Stories, an open house is an excuse to prospect. It turns into a free retail store to collect leads if you do it right.
Right, right, exactly. And the biggest thing with the open house I learned because I used to a long time ago, I used to do, hi, how are you?
Oops. Ladies and gentlemen, we are
Sorry.
experiencing technical difficulties. There he is. He's back.
Yeah, he's gonna keep calling until. Let me just tell him I'll call him in 10 minutes. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. The biggest thing is follow up. The biggest thing is follow up.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's one thing I never did. I just that once they left, it's the last time I called them. But now we follow up. We continuously follow up with them, and some you keep, and some they disappear.
Right. I got you. I got you. Good. Yeah. In today's world, with the interest rates starting to come down, and it's like the market's kicking into a different gear, and open houses, for a while there, were being less attended, but now it seems like we're getting a lot of good attention at the open houses. So it's definitely a good thing to do.
Right. No, no, definitely. Another thing I've been doing too is farming.
Yeah.
I farmed from a long time ago, and then I stopped, and I started up again. But I do several areas. Um, I look into for my team whether if they want to farm certain areas. I'm noticing not one agent dominates many neighborhoods.
Right.
Now I send out about 1,000. It's going to be actually next month. We boosted up to about 1,200 newsletters every month. And every area I look in, there's no one dominating agent in that neighborhood. So it's a good time now to start farming because you could pick that neighborhood and dominate it before somebody else does. Because I think mailers are going to come back in. I mean, social media is great, but you still have the ones that still like that mail. They can hold it in their hand, look at it, smell the paper, whatever they want to do. But there's still some people that like to do that, feel the paper when they read it. You know, like reading a book versus reading one online.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. Six of one, half a dozen of the other, but they both work. That's why it's incredible. I mean, it's a great idea to do both of them. So, all right. Well, let's head right into my favorite question, which is top three things. Okay, knowing everything you know now, if you were to suggest somebody, here's the top three things to be successful in real estate. What would you say they are?
You know, there's more than three things to do.
Right.
And I think that right now funny story with that, and I'll make it quick, but take control of your CRM, your database, your client base, whatever you want to call it. Take control of it and organize it immediately from the beginning, from the get-go. I remember one time I took a trip to France. I was there for a month. And believe it or not, I said, I'll work on my database while I'm there. Everyone's sleeping and I'm awake because of the time change. I spent the entire month I was in France working on my database. Spent 3, 4 hours a night and going through each one, organizing each one. I think to me, from the very get-go, just get into the habit and start your database from the very beginning. That's my number one thing because it'll take time to correct it later.
Great
Two,
idea.
follow up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to say great idea. Most of the top producers interview, they say, I wish I had started my database and got organized about it quicker because that's my business from. It would have been great if I had organized it quicker because I would have started working faster.
Right, 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 right. No, no, exactly, exactly. And honestly, it's more important than people realize. And we in our CRM we have with Berkshire Hathaway, you plug it in, you're done. It does everything for you. You can set up your newsletters, you can set up your holidays, your birthdays, your anniversaries, your everything, and it'll remind you about this stuff as well. It
Right.
does everything for you. Number two would be follow up. Several years ago, during COVID, actually, I went. We had plenty of time. I'm sitting at home doing hardly anything, but I think it's I went through all my clients from when I started till now, and I just to update my database, and I looked on there, and several of my clients have sold their home, and some I missed by a week or two, and I didn't know about it because I didn't follow up with that one person. I didn't keep in touch with that one person. Now, I didn't look at it, it's the end of the world. No, but I looked at it as, okay, this is a learning process. Okay, I made this mistake. It happened. Shame on me for it. Let's move forward and reach out to them because they may want to buy again, you know,
Right.
and rekindle, renourish that relationship you had with them.
Good. All right. So organize that database and make sure you follow up, follow up. The fortune is in the follow up. What would your third one be, my man?
You know, develop good habits from the get go. From the very beginning, just develop good habits. Um, I read a long time ago. I was at work and I read somebody had a photocopy from a machine, but they framed it, and it said something in the nature of, "It takes less time to do things right the first time than it is to correct it and redo it later." Okay,
Agreed.
which ties into the CRM and keeping up with your database and all that stuff. It's just it's so simply said, but so little of us do it. And I fall into that wagon every now and then. You know, we get lazy and we don't want to do it. But I think if you really just start with your good habits, you know, you pick up a client, it's a new buyer, right away into your CRM. Pick out the holiday cards for them. Then you know what? My thing is I'll call someone until they tell me to stop calling.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not harassing them. I'll call you until you say, "Hey, don't call me anymore." Then I'll stop calling. But until they say that, then I have every right to call them because they gave me their phone number or their
Right.
email or something. So another thing with the CRM is I wouldn't flood them with newsletters and everything. I usually do holiday card, birthday card, and newsletters. The three things that I do for everybody. And then if somebody else wants something else or something more, then I can always add it to it.
Good. I love it. Yeah. You don't want to be spam. You don't want to spam them out so they get rid of you. You want them to stay in and make sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're getting sick of me before they know me.
Yeah. The key is just to keep building that network. That's what I'm talking about now is building your network. So good. Awesome, my man. Any final words you want to leave these people today, Alan?
You know, it's a great business. You got to have faith in it. Our up times are great money. Our down times it gives us time to reorganize, take those classes. Rick Berube's Success Series is amazing. I think it should be a requirement for people to take it once a year. I think
Amen,
it
my
really
man.
should be. It brings us, Rick, you bring us back to basics.
Yeah.
You bring us back to that time where I knew this stuff. Why am I not doing this? Or why did I forget this? And I think, honestly, I think it should be a requirement to, you know, you want to stay as a realtor, then you need to take this class.
I love it. You have my vote. No, I love it. I
Rick
love
Berube,
it. I agree with you. That's why we got it
what's that?
approved to the state of Nevada for CE credits, right? I'm
Yeah,
still a little
they
shocked.
wouldn't give it to you for no reason.
Right, right. The topics are good. I even have tomorrow, Thursday, is actually an agency class.
Yes, yeah, that's the one. I will be there for that one for sure. I'll be there for all of them, but I'm like I can miss any day, but I can't miss that one. I need that one.
Yeah, because you need the other ones are general or personal development, and then that one happens to be an agency. All right, Alan,
Right.
we are right at time here. Perfect timing. So I really appreciate you taking out your time, my man. I'm sure people got nuggets out of this. We'll be blasting it all over the place and tagging you as well. So keep it rocking, my man, and I'll see you this afternoon. Everybody
And
else, see
please,
you.
everyone, please hold back the autographs. I don't have that time today.
Oh, you mean the request? Just tell them you charge
What's
50
that?
bucks. I won't send you any.
Oh yeah, well, okay, good. Yeah, that's good. I'm good with that.
All right, good. All right, awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Paul. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Good luck.
You got it. Thank you.